This is Jewish Spotlight, a weekly television program presented by Chabad Lubavitch of Long Island, featuring various aspects of modern Jewish life and Jewish culture. Now, here is your host, Rabbi Tuvia Teldin.
Shalom. One of the most exciting developments in the Jewish world is the fact that there are so many Jewish day schools that are developing literally throughout the country. And as a result, many Jews are making a decision that they want their children to be in that type of environment. And it's a very interesting development, and it's one that's been going on for thousands of years where Jewish children have been in Jewish schools. But never before have we seen in an American Jewish community such a tremendous amount of enthusiasm and energy and intense effort that has been put into establishing Jewish schools and bringing Jewish children into that environment. And in particular, I think more and more people in the Jewish community are recognizing that Jewish continuity, the ability to ensure future Jewish generations, depends on the education of our young. Well, we're happy to have with us two guests who are very involved and tremendously dedicated to the establishment of one of these schools right here in our own neighborhood in the New York metropolitan area. There's a very exciting venture going on in Suffolk County to be able to establish in a community of almost 100,000 Jews a new Orthodox Jewish day school. It's my pleasure to have with us today for the Jewish Spotlight Rabbi Shimon Kramer, the Dean of the school. Rabbi Kramer, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you. Good evening.
And also Mrs. Jerry Fave. Jerry, it's a pleasure to have you with us also.
Happy to be here.
The headmaster of the school.
I am.
And
I'm excited to be.
And I understand the two of you are the leadership team that will be handling the academic and scholastic progress of the school, the curriculum, and really, for all practical purposes, putting the school on the map, which is quite an undertaking, and our hats off to you. Not my yarmulke, but just my hat.
Good.
In the meantime, Rabbi Kramer, what do you see as being the goal of the Jewish Academy that's being established presently in Suffolk County?
Actually, it's interesting for you to ask this question. Suffolk County is one of the only counties, metropolitan area, that actually has 90,000 Jewish people. I would say probably approximately about 20 to 25 25,000 Jewish children here in Suffolk County without a Jewish day school that has big numbers. I would say there's probably about 130, 140 Jewish children going to Jewish day school.
Right. You have one Orthodox day school in Lake Grove, and I think one also in a conservative day school in Comac.
Yes, that's correct.
Right. So this percentage is absolutely minuscule compared to the percentage of Jewish children in other places around the country that do attend Jewish day school.
Yes, definitely. And what we're trying to accomplish is to make that excellent Jewish day school that should attract all Jewish parents to send their children there. That should be an excellent, all-rounded day school in secular studies, Jewish studies, and just to make that person the Jewish values for life, to really teach those children the values that will help them guide them through life.
Well, I think that's very important. I think there are many parents today who will agree with you 100% that today it takes more than just giving children knowledge and acquiring that knowledge. It takes really treating the whole individual and being able to create a human being that's a good, decent human being in every way. Jerry, I know that the staff at the school is very excited about your being on the leadership team, and you bring with yourself a rich background. Can you tell us a little bit about what you see happening at the Jewish Academy, what your dreams are, and what you bring to the table from your past experience?
My past experience has been 36 years in education, teaching at a variety of levels, and then also being in an administrative role at the Eastwood School in Oyster Bay for the past 10 years.
Which is a very prestigious school with a tremendous reputation.
I believe so. Yes, it is. And I feel very excited about this opportunity. It's truly every educator's dream to be involved in the development of a new school. So our goals are very simple. We want an excellent education. We want strong Jewish values. We want a commitment on the part of the faculty, which we know we will have, an inspired faculty, and also a commitment on the part of the parents and the students to join the team and be part of it. We look at it as a group effort, and certainly an exciting one, daunting challenge indeed, but one which I think we're all prepared to go forward.
How are the public schools in the area of the school that you're involved with?
The public schools.
This public school system is a
Yeah.
very high standard, I understand.
Yes, I think so, and I think that will be a challenge for us as well.
And you feel that you can compete in the sense of motivating parents who perhaps are marginally involved with Judaism to be able to make a commitment to send their children to a full-day Jewish academy instead of the public school system?
I think so. I think parents today really are looking at several things. First of all, independent schools offer them some choices. Also, independent schools will offer them small class sizes, and that works in the student's benefit across the board. It also allows them to really be a part of the team, as I said before. I think independent schools are very responsive to parents' needs and very aware of what is the expectation when a parent makes that choice to commit their tuition monies to an independent school. So I'm very confident that the conversations that we've had up to this point certainly are going to lead us in that direction. I'm very confident that we can do what we plan to do with the Jewish Academy.
Now, Rabbi Kramer, you're a little bit younger. You have, I know, quite a background in education. Could you tell us a little bit about how you were able to take on this daunting task? Because it is a major undertaking.
Well, I have to admit, it's from my grandparents. I'm the third generation that's in education. Both my grandfathers, my mother's father started off in Latvia as the Minister of Education, Jewish education, in the whole of Latvia under the government, and he was really successful. At that time, actually, he once mentioned to me, interesting, that every single Jewish child in Latvia went to a Jewish school.
Really?
And it was really, it was really interesting. He mentioned to me many of the stories and many of the hardships and the challenges that he went through. My other grandfather...
Just as an added note to that as well, first of all, of course, that your grandfather that you were just referring to was literally the right-hand man to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he dedicated himself in his whole life to Jewish education when he came over to America together with the Rebbe. But in addition, there are many Jewish communities throughout the world where you have this type of percentage of Jewish children going to Jewish schools. I know in South America and many places in South Africa and Australia, there's a tremendous amount of affiliation because Jewish families and the Jewish community knows that its main identity is determined by the Jewish school that is going to be serving their children, because that's their investment in the future. I'm sorry,
Yes.
now, your other grandfather. Yes.
Actually, I just want to add to that. I was in Australia. I taught there for a while. It's interesting that you mentioned Australia. In Australia, I believe the percentage is about 90 or 95%
Really?
of the Jewish children go to Jewish day schools. It's really unheard of there that a Jewish child shouldn't go to a Jewish day school. And we're hoping to do the same in Suffolk County.
There's no question about it. I'm sure you'll succeed.
We're looking forward.
And now, the story about your other grandfather, I know it's quite an interesting story.
Yes, and my other grandfather actually ran away in World War II from the Nazis and escaped to Canada. He arrived in Canada on a Friday. At Saturday night, he announced that he's going to be making a day school, a Jewish day school. I believe at that time there was no Jewish day school in Montreal, Canada. We're talking about 1941. There was no Jewish day school. He opened up the Jewish day school with 2 children. But a couple days later, he had 7, and that was his first year. And from then on, and now there's that same day school is standing with about 1,000 children.
Fantastic.
So that's really
All
nice,
right.
and I'm looking forward to going their footsteps.
Okay, wonderful. Jerry, I want to ask you a question. You know, a lot of parents are concerned about the moral standing that their
Right.
children get. They're concerned about their children being good citizens, about having good attitudes.
Right.
What do you think parents would get out of sending their child to a Jewish day school, like your own or like any of the Jewish day schools that we have here in the metropolitan area? What extra flavor and extra ingredient are they getting for their tuition money?
Well, I think clearly parents want, as you suggest, values, ethics, morals instilled in their children. We know that most of all happens at the home front. But an independent school such as we have is an extension of the family, in essence. You become more connected to the students, and the parents really do feel they can converse with you on a very honest level. So I do believe that we will, be able to offer manners count. That's a very important piece. That we will be responsible to and for behaviors. Discipline will be a part of it, but with a nurturing, caring touch so that the child will understand, indeed, why a correction needs to be made or why we need to channel their behavior in a different direction. So I think those are all things that count very much to parents, and sometimes just in a larger environment are hard to come by or hard to maintain. Consistency in approach will also be a very strong piece of what we
And
offer.
also that the teachers will actually be eating lunch together with the students. As a result,
Yes.
there will be that type of interaction, that extra
Right.
mention of a relationship that will be developed that isn't necessarily always there in a public school.
Right,
where
I
you
think
just come
that-
in, you teach, and you leave.
Well, I think for our faculty to be responsible to have some downtime, so to speak, with the students gives them another perspective of the children as well.
Right.
And I think it's very important that faculty take that on as a responsibility, so they get to interact with the children in a different environment than the classroom, and also to share a little bit of their own life and self. I think that's important as well. So there is this connection that they will maintain for a lifetime.
Right.
I think that's
And there are many things like that, that it's not just because of the size of many of the classes you find in the public sector, that they're not able to get certain points across perhaps as well as you could with a smaller classroom, but also there are certain things that literally cannot be taught or cannot be communicated by a teacher in the public sector that you can do.
Right.
Like teaching certain things about rights and wrongs in very subtle ways, and not in any
Absolutely.
way infringe upon the parents and the final
Right.
authority as far as what kind of
Right.
moral levels or standards
Sure.
the children are going to
And
have,
as-
what kind of Jewish practice they're going to have, for instance.
Absolutely, and the school can certainly support particular attributes which one would like to develop in any human being, and focus on that through what could be called the unwritten curriculum, that it just becomes the natural course of action throughout our day, interacting with one another as administration, as faculty, having that sense of respect and
Right.
understanding, and then the children seeing how we behave so that we continue to model the best possible behavior and interest level as well. I
right.
think they
Sounds
have
good.
they have to feel, and I'm sure they will, our passion for
Okay.
education and lifelong learning.
You sold me.
Good, I'm glad.
I think
It's our
also-
plan.
If I may add, I think another advantage as well, I think the fact that faculty chose to come to our school and want to be part of our school, and so too as well as students,
Yeah.
the fact that the students chose to go to that independent school and to be part of our school makes us feel as a warm and close family, that I am really confident that everybody in the school will be like one family that will help each other and assist each other and really
Should we create community?
Absolutely.
That's good. That's good.
Absolutely.
Let me throw out a question I'd like both of you to comment on also. I know that you have very interesting partners in the education program. Technology is going to be a very important part. You're going to bring in special science programs. You're talking about having teleconferencing to Israel for various types of language programs. Can you tell us a little bit about the technology aspect of your program?
Well, from a curriculum point of view, I
Fine.
think the most important piece will be that technology will not be a separate entity. Technology will be incorporated into all the core curriculum, the language arts, the math, the science. And you can do that very easily by teaching particular technology skills through projects that are presented by the classroom teachers. So in essence, they are learning the technology skills through the content area that we're teaching. And certainly, we're very excited about the partnership with Israel. We can do that as early as kindergarten.
Can you
Just-
tell us a
Yes,
little
I
bit
suppose.
about that?
Yes, we are in touch with a school in Tiberias that's really excited to do the project with us, and we will be able to email each other either in the younger grades as a class and older. They'll make a partnership between the students themselves to be able to have contact with each other. I think we'll learn Hebrew and they'll learn English at the same time. I think it'll be a benefit to both of us, and really we'll learn the culture of Israel, they'll learn the American culture, and it's a really exciting project for both of us. We're really excited to
Very
get it going.
nice. Jerry, can you tell me a little bit about the Partners in Education program as well?
Yes, we're absolutely working on developing partners with corporations in the Hapag area so that we can capitalize on location and all that corporations have to offer. We might have a visitor come into the classroom. We might have someone some of the children visit a particular situation. It'll be very dependent upon how we develop the curriculum and how we can interface with a larger corporation to have the adults learn from the children, which I think is extremely possible and needed, and also for the children to see a greater world, a world beyond the classroom. So in essence, to expand the classroom walls to the outside world. And I think that's something that's very key in education today, to take it beyond textbook learning and take it beyond the classroom environment.
I want to take this opportunity to thank those who have already committed to be the partners in education towards us. I think it's very nice of them, and we're looking forward for more to join us.
Very good.
As well.
Rabbi Kramer, you've been involved with many schools around the country, and I know you've done a lot of research to find out how these schools operate. And what is your impression of what's going on with the Jewish day school movement around the country and how it's booming? And does it inspire you? Does it worry you that are you going to be able to live up to the same standards? And I'm sure you have mixed feelings sometimes, talking to so many of these wonderful schools that are sprouting up all the country and working with PEAGE and working locally with SAGES and with BJE and so many other organizations, and seeing the tremendous energy that goes into this. It must be a very exciting personal project for you.
Yes, it definitely is. I think it's a great challenge, and I do have to admit that it's very difficult, but I really believe that we will come through and we will make an excellent school. And I think the fact that you go around the country and you see all those schools that are doing so well and have so many students, and you visit them and you see how happy the students are and the faculty and the parents, I think that gives you energy. I think it actually gives you energy thinking that one day this school will be the same as all the others.
So let me ask you a question. Why do you think it is that for so many Jewish parents, they hear Jewish day school, they think, oh, you must be Orthodox to go there, or you have to be very religious in order to be part of a Jewish day school, or they're very hesitant to even think in the terms that maybe there's a possibility that my child would benefit from having a Jewish day school experience. Either they think it's maybe very expensive, which of course we know there are scholarships in every Jewish day school, and every Jewish day school sees as its mission Jewish continuity and will do whatever it can to try to get Jewish children on board. But do you tell me what you think is the blockade, so to say, that's stopping parents from giving stronger consideration to having their children in a Jewish day school?
Well, I think actually the way it was years ago, many of the students attending Jewish day school were actually Orthodox, and many of the schools were Orthodox. And out of those schools, many of the schools were sort of say old-fashioned, or they weren't up to the modern technology and the modern way of teaching. However, what's happening now, the more and more children Jewish children are going to day school, even though they're not Orthodox. And the reason being is they just see the difference they see what's going out there in today's world with all the youth searching for something. And they're searching what they're doing in this world and what their identity is. And they have so many questions that the parents really want them to be answered. And they feel that by going to Jewish day school, they will be answered. And that's why...
Go on, I'm sorry.
And that's why today there are so many parents that are sending their children to Jewish day schools, even though they're not Orthodox. As a matter of fact, I believe that I know the school that we're putting up here in Suffolk County is actually not geared to Orthodox children at all, being that there's a very small Orthodox community. And what we're looking to cater mostly to the unaffiliated.
So unaffiliated Jews, like any Jew who just might feel comfortable and would send their children, let's say, to an Eastwoods, or
Right.
just want a good, solid education. Those are the type of parents you think you'll be able to attract.
Yes, definitely. And I think in the beginning it may be difficult because they may come to the school and may think, oh, this is not for my child. My child is not Orthodox. But I think that it may take a year or two, but they'll see what the school is all about. That it just the secular program will be unbelievable, and the values that we'll give to the children, and the fact that they'll have some sort of identity, I think will really make a difference, and parents will send their children.
It's some of the conversations I've had with families as we go forward to promote the school. It's very apparent to me that Jewish families really do want the connection with their Jewish community, but they also want a very strong, rigorous, excellent education. And I believe that's what's happening, is those two things are merging in Jewish day schools today, and therefore making it a more viable option for parents as they look
Right.
towards.
This is really what's going on all over the country, this level of
Raising the bar. Right.
in the secular
Exactly.
education and also in the Jewish education is convincing more and more parents that there's something here to invest in. Jerry, let me ask you another question. You know, some parents are a little hesitant about the fact that there's a half day, approximately, of Jewish studies and a half day of general studies. How do you come to a parent and say that the children are still going to learn as much through the program as far as the secular part of the program, the general studies core curriculum,
Right.
even though it's only half a day as opposed to a full day?
I think we have to impress upon the parents how we are going about the balance of the two general studies and the Judaic study program. And we will do that in a variety of ways, through integration and also through really analyzing the time frame that we're working in. The other thing will be clearly that parents will have a good, solid belief in the faculty. And that's certainly, as we go forward, we're looking for very high caliber faculty. And part of the responsibility of teachers is to make sure that certain things happen on a daily basis for children. Clearly, the administration would monitor that very specifically. And we will look at the day in very creative ways as we go forward. I think when you plan
As well as
program,
integration of the curriculum.
integration is interdisciplinary approaches, and you plan programs so that it's not static, or it's not written in stone, literally. It's very
Right.
flexible based on the needs of the children, and as administration, we should be responsive to analyzing program and the results of it ongoing.
Right. I understood even at a prestigious school like Eastwood's,
Sure.
there was a very high percentage of, so to say, non-core curriculum
Correct.
subjects, extracurriculum type of subjects.
Absolutely.
What percentage would you say that would be?
I would say probably a third to two-thirds of the time. It depends on the grade
Right.
levels.
So about
But-
35% or so was
Yeah.
non-core curriculum.
but
so
all-
the difference
if
would
we're-
really be minimal.
It will be, and if you're looking for the total child, if you're looking to develop a total human being, all of those things are very key to their development. And children have strengths in many different areas.
Right.
And what we will do is teach to their strengths. Weaknesses will come up, pay attention to the weaknesses, and perhaps spotlight areas. Maybe this child is much more capable in
Sounds good to
music,
me.
but maybe not so much in math, and we'll have to pay attention
You'll
to
have
that.
a music program, an art
A music-
program, science, library.
A full complement of all the what would be called the creatives or specials.
Very nice.
So we're
Very,
very
very nice.
excited about that.
If I may add, I would like to add, this goes as well for Jewish faculty as well. The Jewish studies teachers and all that, they will be certified and they will be excellent, top of the line. And I also want to add that we will have a strong self-assessment program to self-assess every few months to see how the school is running and how the children and the parents feel about the school.
Interesting. Interesting. And the best part, I hear you have hot lunches included in tuition.
We do,
Yes.
for faculty too.
For faculty also.
Absolutely.
All right.
And the
Yes, we're looking
administration.
forward.
You can get a job? I want to ask both of you a question also, and I think this is a concern that I find amongst many Jewish parents, that they're afraid that by sending their children to a Jewish school, somehow their kids are going to be sheltered, they're going to not know the real world, they're going to feel disconnected from society as a whole. Could you both maybe comment on that as far as how you would respond to a parent who brings that concern? And I think it's a genuine concern, because people don't really know what goes on. They think in the Jewish day school that you're just surrounded by only Jewish things, and nobody's taught about the rest of the world at all. And somehow you develop awkward social skills or the inability to really deal in the world and to feel comfortable playing with friends on your block or these types of things. So Jerry, can you comment
Well,
on that?
certainly one of the core foundations of the Jewish Academy will be the social, emotional, physical, spiritual development of the child. And through those areas, we clearly, parents in any independent school have some degree of reservation that their children are cocooning or would be sheltered. But I think when parents see the outreach, i.e. partners in education, the use of technology, things like that, they will come to understand how the program is really developed to allow the child to grow at their own pace. And we would be paying attention to those areas of concern if they existed, and certainly be conferencing with parents and making sure that we as a school know what any concern might be and certainly plan accordingly for any child. So I think that's, I don't feel it's just a Jewish day school mentality, so to speak.
Okay.
I think it's any parent, and then they also worry about the broader world, and they'd like to cocoon them a little bit more. So we have to strike that balance for parents so that they trust and believe in it. And we certainly will invite them in to see what's going on. I think we'll have an open door
A lot of
policy.
day schools, I believe, are very sensitive to this issue.
Absolutely.
And really try their best to educate the children as to different types of personalities, different cultures,
Right.
and expose them to what's going on in the world. Robert,
And there are actually many things that we can teach that maybe in a public school they'll have a hard time teaching. For example, this idea of emailing and having a pen pal in Israel, I think is a wonderful idea. They'll get to know Israel, they'll get to know the children there, they'll get to know the classes there, they'll get to know the culture there. So too, I haven't planned to go a step further, to maybe to Australia and some other Jewish day schools around the country, to really see what other cultures are around the country and other countries as well. So we'll look, actually, they are going out of the box.
but that's still Jewish, to do other Jewish communities. I'm talking in terms
Right.
of reaching out to other non-Jewish communities. Also, they should have some an idea and appreciation of what's going on. I'm sure.
Definitely.
And I think
Definitely
we'll be able to approach that as well through what we're looking at as an extended day program, something that would go beyond the activity of the core academic day
Right.
to bring in different adjunct people, so to speak, to add another variety of opportunities for the children that they would not necessarily get throughout the course of the day and maybe not have time for
Right.
after the after-school program. So the school will be very accommodating to the needs of the children in that regard as
Right,
well.
and of course you'll have a phys ed program, and you'll have all
Absolutely.
the
Definitely.
standard other activities that take place in every single day school.
Definitely.
Very good.
Special
Well, listen,
events
you're quite an ambitious undertaking.
Certainly is.
If I may ask you, Rabbi Teldon,
Yes.
being a rabbi in Suffolk County, what do you feel about the project? I know it's a very difficult and great challenges. How do you feel?
Well, I know
give me
many
some
of the
confidence.
many rabbis and the lay leadership in Suffolk County is very, very excited about the project, and I look forward to tremendous success. And
Wonderful.
the main thing is that God Almighty should bless this project, because that's the only way it's going to happen. It's going to be a miracle in our community, and everybody is looking forward to it, because these types of miracles are taking place literally all over the country, all over the world, and they've been taking place all through Jewish history. And that's really part of the survival of Jewish people, is that there have been people like yourselves who have been willing to go ahead and to take on a project like this and make it happen, even sometimes when it seems like it's the impossible dream, and to make it a real dream. So,
Thank you. Thanks for the encouragement.
so,
Definitely
I'm
adds.
sure it'll be good. Listen, we'll get back
Thank
together
you.
again when you have 1,000 students.
Thank you so much. We're looking forward.
Most definitely.
Very good. Well, listen, you shall have success. And of course, I want to mention as well the philanthropist for this, Mrs. Anita Kaplan, who really put this whole thing together and made it happen. So take care, and we'll see you next week at the Jewish Spotlight. Same place, same time, same station. Shalom.